Salams and welcome. Thank you for joining me in another episode of the Quran in English Basics for Beginners. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We are starting now with chapter number 85, Surah Al-Buruj, the Constellations. The name of the surah is designated after the word Al-Buruj appearing in the first verse. The period of revelation was sent down at Mecca in the period when persecution of the Muslims was at its climax. The theme and subject matter. Its main and central theme is to warn the disbelievers of the evil consequences of the persecution and tyranny that they were perpetrating on the early Muslims, the converts to Islam, and to give hope and consolation to the believers so as to say, if you remain firm and steadfast against tyranny and coercion, you will be rewarded richly for it, and Allah will certainly avenge Himself on your persecutors on your behalf. In this connection, first of all, the story of the people of the ditch, the Ashab al-Ukhdud, had been related, who had burnt the believers to death by casting them into pits full of fire. By means of this story, the believers and the disbelievers have been taught a few lessons. Firstly, that just as the people of the ditch became worthy of Allah's curse and punishment, so too are the chiefs of Mecca, the pagan polytheist chiefs, also becoming worthy of it. Secondly, that just as the believers at that time had willingly accepted to sacrifice their lives by being burned to death in the pits of fire instead of turning away from the faith, so too the believers now should endure every persecution but should never give up the faith. Thirdly, that God's acknowledging whom displeases the believers and is urged on by the believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is dominant and master of the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. He, the supreme creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is self-praiseworthy and is watching that the two groups are striving for. What are they striving towards, good or evil? Therefore, it is certain that the disbelievers will not only be punished in hell for their disbelief, but more than that, they also will suffer punishment by fire as a fit recompense for their tyranny and cruelties towards the believers and to mankind in general. Likewise, this is also certain that those who believe and follow up their belief with good deeds should go to paradise, and this indeed is the supreme success. Then the disbelievers have been warned so as to say, God's grip is very severe. If you are proud of the strength of your armies, you should know that the armies of Pharaoh and Thamud were even stronger and more numerous. Therefore, you should learn a lesson from the fate that they met. God's power has so encompassed you that you cannot escape His encirclement, and that the Quran that you are bent upon belying is indeed unchangeable. It is inscribed in the preserved tablet, which cannot be corrupted in any way whatsoever. Stay well, look after yourself. Alhamdulillah.